all the right ingredients. The long front straight at Johor leads into a slow right-hand corner, and that means there will be drafting, outbraking, and there will be overtaking. Speed through the corner and getting the exit right is absolutely vital, because you need all the power you can get here on another long straight that runs uphill towards a sweeping left turn. Braking and tipping in, and this one is fast, and there will be some action here too. But the corner is deceptively difficult, and it tightens up hard as the track begins to drop away from you and dips down towards a long, tight right turn. Hard on the gas on the exit, because the track is climbing again now, rising towards its highest point. Over the crest you go and drop down into the dip for a tricky right-hander. And you need to carry speed through here, because there's another climb and another crest and then another curve. And then you must be thinking about grabbing second gear for a wicked downhill chicane. A real test of timing and a place where lots of riders will be in trouble. But you must get it right, because it's part of a combination of corners that lead out onto the next set, and you need to be well set up to come into the left-right flick onto the front straight under perfect control. Out onto the start-finish straight, that leads you, and you've got to get the power on hard then. Got to be driving that back wheel really hard as you come out onto the main straight and gas it up early for a good run past the pits. Sunday morning before the race, and the pit lane is thrown open to the spectators, giving them a chance to get close to the racers and also close to the action on track. A display of trials riding, always popular with crowds at any racetrack, because it involves such a highly visible amount of machine control, and occasionally a highly visible degree of spectator involvement as well. Sentinel last time out, Ekaraj Pumbapur won the 1-2-5 race ahead of Anat Mifanid and Holman Churun Nizam, with points leader Faisal Yahya fourth and defending champion Nifon Sangsawan fifth. The 110 race saw one of the front runners missing from the grid before the start, and another one finished eighth as Suhathai took the checkered flag from Mohammed Faisal. So Punbupur is top of the 1-2-5 points, and Faisal Yahya dropped down to second. Second place on track put Anna Mivanid third, as Ahmed Jayadi went down to fourth. And now it looks as if the crown must go to one of the top three in this series. In the 110, Suhathai's win put him on top of the points, but eighth on track was good enough to keep Tamanun Salapakal a close second, though just a single point clear of third place. Meganathan stays fifth in this series despite his non-appearance last time, and remains one of half a dozen riders who could take the title here today. This one is wide open and it's going to be fierce. Heavy rain on Friday meant that all the grid times were set on Saturday, and there were one or two long faces in the paddock. Though it was sunny for the second day's qualifying, good track time was hard to come by in the seasonal rain, which is always an extra challenge at this time of year, and setup was a problem for all the teams and riders, especially in the razor-edge world of underbone racing. Looking reasonably confident then, Sharun Nizam, number 33, 61, Abdul Halim, far end of the front row. Let's have a look at the times, and you can see the pole man is Ekraj Pumbuppa. He won the last round, and he is the only man in the 46s on this grid. All the men alongside him are tough competitors, but his best news is that Faisal Yaya's right behind him, down on row 2, and getting on for 2 seconds adrift of the pole time. And he's not alone on row 2. He's got some tough riders alongside him, so it will be fierce. The 110 grid's way back down behind. 11th on the grid is 110 poleman Suhathai Chamsub, and they are away, and it is Pumbuppa. It is that number 10 plate leading Sharun Nizam into turn 1. Abdul Halim, 61, looked as if he grabbed 3rd place there. Wait and see as they sort themselves out running through the corner. Long drag uphill. Now this really saps the power. This is a very important part of this Johor circuit. And Sharun Nizam, number 33, hits the front. Pumbuppa is there. Ahmad Jayadi, 17, swinging out. 1 in the pack there is Nifon Sangsuan. A glimpse also of the number 2 plate. That's Anand Mifanid. He's 3rd in the points. He could win this series, but he's got to get a move on. Got to be up with the leaders, got to be up front. There he is, look, long way back. He is 10th or thereabout, and this pack, which is still together on the opening lap, through this tight right and climbing up towards the top of the circuit they go. Pumbuppa ahead of Sharun. 3rd place, number 4, Faisal Yaya. He's the man who needs to get up front and start dicing with Pumbuppa. That's where the championship battle is going to be fought. He's 8 points adrift, Faisal Yaya. He's got to be in front of Pumbuppa if he wants to have a crack at this title. Through the chicane, downhill they go. Still more turns before they reach that front straight as well. Left. And then right out on to the front straight. There's Nifon Sangsuan, last year's champion, and the last time he'll be riding with the number 1 plate on his bike. Pumbuppa leads it from Sharun Nizam. 3rd place still to Faisal Yaya. 3 is Sam, who's had some results this year. Mohammed Hisham Naganin, he really wants to get on with the job, and that is the end of this race for 17 for Ahmad Jayadi, and also for 34 pulling off as well. Still Pumbuppa up front, number 10 leads it. And we look back to the 110 race. 24 is Abdullah, 18 is Bamang Siswanto, 31 is Kanapathy, 3rd in the points is Kanapathy. 18 seems to be in trouble, 24 is definitely in trouble, running wide there, and he didn't go in there too hot. I think that's a bike problem. It's not as if he went in there too hot and had to sit up on that. I think he's got a bike problem. No problem up front in the 1-2-5 for Pumbuppa, still in front of Sharun, and Ekraj Pumbuppa, number 10, in a championship winning position. He knows that 33 is there, but this is the battle he's interested in. Where is the number 4 plate of Faisal Yaya? We look back as Amhorn Surifat leads the 110 race ahead of Somkwan Raimi. 57 is Suhathai, the pole man, the points leader, the championship challenger, who is back down the field. So the 110s appear to be in disarray, and up front in the 1-2-5s, everything appears to be going according to plan for Pumbuppa. Sharun with him, these two really have made the break. Faisal Yaya can kiss goodbye to his title now. Pumbuppa out in front, could afford to come 2nd at the moment, the way Faisal Yaya is right down the field. Checks over his shoulder, and that's always a tricky and risky business on these bikes. You've got to keep that wire tight. It's got to be on the bike the whole time. Looking over your shoulder will cost you fractions of a second, no matter how cleanly you do it. And that is the end of the line for Abdullah. It obviously was a bike problem, the Suzuki coasting to a halt, so not a rider error, but some problem with the bike sends him off. And Vaughan Surifat has got 57, he has got Suhathai, the pole man, the points leader, right on his tail. Well, Suhathai knows that he's got to get on with this, and he is doing that. He's moving away from number 11. That's the man he's racing. Oh, and he's off it! And he's off it big time, and he nearly took 11 with him. Well, that was outrageous. And where is the rider? There he is. Suhathai is running to the bike. Well, that isn't going anywhere, is it? Suhathai is trying to straighten the bars on what's left of that Honda. And he is going to try and restart it. Well, we've seen the underbones always like to get back on and carry on, but it doesn't look as if he's got much of a motorcycle left to do it with. It is running, though. Absolutely unbelievable. He is back on the machine. And he looks as though he could well be back in the race. Look at it again in slow motion. It is Suhathai who loses it, brushes Vaughan Surifat, and then the bike falls right across the nose of Tamanoon Silapakal. The man who's second in the points almost gets wiped out when the points leader goes down. Somehow or other, he managed to avoid the bike, brush it off and stay on. Absolutely unbelievable stuff in the 110s. Up front in the 125s, it's still the same. Chirun Nizam is pressuring Ekaraj Pumbuppa every step of the way to this checkered flag. And there is the number 4 plate. Well, at the moment, he is in 5th place, Faisal Yahya, and that isn't going to do him any favours at all in the championship. Sam making a last-minute bid for 3rd for the last rostrum place, drops back to 4th though. He's battling with the number 1 man. And these two still wheel to wheel, running downhill. And Chirun Nizam, I think, knows that he's going to be second. He's made a brave attempt to be first, but Pumbuppa had this one wrapped up coming out of the chicane, and Chirun knew it. Pumbuppa turns to congratulate him as they go over the line. That was a tremendous race. Here comes the rest of the field. There is Nippon Sangsuan. The checkered flag brings home the rest of the 125s. Looked like number 3 got 3rd place. We'll have to wait and see as Pumbuppa sets off on his lap of honour with the Thai flag over his shoulder. And there's still a 110 race going on behind them as well. Finishing just 0.2 of a second in front of Chirun Nizam after a race-long battle. Ekaraj Pumbuppa makes it 3 wins in a row to confirm his title in the 125 class. Not even second place today would have got Faisal Yahya the crown as long as Pumbuppa won the race, but he finished down in 4th place behind Sam in any case. And the same goes for Anat Mifanid. Second wouldn't have made him champion either, but he had a poor weekend and he eventually finished the race in 7th place, though that did bring him an overall 3rd place in the points table at the end of the season. There it is, Pumbuppa, Faisal Yahya and Anat Mifanid, 1st, 2nd and 3rd in the 125 championship. Meanwhile, lots of pit lane mathematics after the 110 race, and a delighted Vaughan Surifat gets the good news. Not only did he win the race, but he's also jumped up to the top of the table after finishing ahead of Somkwan Raimi and Mega Nathan. That's the way they came home in the 110s. Drama every step of the way during that race, especially as points leader Suhathai Chamsub got back on to what was left of that Honda after that massive crash, and incredibly he made it home. He was the last rider to finish the race. He was classified in 10th place going over the line. Just 6 points his reward for that huge effort, but even then he still ends the year 2nd in the championship. Surifat, top of the table. Suhathai Chamsub then in 2nd place ahead of Mega Nathan, but points positions don't mean anything after a great big get-off like this one. And Suhathai must look at these pictures and realise he was the luckiest man on the racetrack today.
Formula One, the greatest show on earth. controversy and excitement of the 1998 Formula One Grand Prix season. Friday on Star Sports. NCAA basketball on ESPN. Get set for more slam dunks and fantastic action as the tournament gets underway. The stars of tomorrow are out to show their skills as they battle it out on the court. NCAA basketball, live on ESPN.
Roar is war, and there's no retreats, no surrender. Roar is war. See all your favorite superstars go into battle, armed with heavy artillery. Everyone will fight the good fight when roar is war, and there's nothing pretty about it. Roar is war on Star Sports.
'95 winner Cheryl Husey remains this championship's biggest success story and its best advert, as he continues to race in the European Open Championship with Team Petronas TVK. After a year on a 1-2-5, acclimatising to Europe, Husey has just finished his second season, now in the 250 Championship, riding to a strong place just outside the top 10. Last time the Asian 250s raced, Yuichi Nakajima won a very close battle at Sentul, finishing just 0.4 of a second ahead of Meng Heng, who was 1/10 clear of Kit, and Harajima fading in 4th place after a strong challenge early on. This win was the second successive victory for Nakajima, and it put him in a very strong position for winning the championship this year. He was already top of the table anyway, but after that result at Sentul, he went 14 points clear, which means that now he only needs the 13 points he'd get for finishing 4th or above here at Johor in order to claim the 1998 title for the Colin Marshall team. Wet on Friday, sunny on Saturday, and just one crack at setting a grid time. That puts the pressure on everyone, and not everyone was lucky. 6th place in qualifying was a disappointing result for defending champion Chow Yan Kit. Friday's rain had made qualifying a bit of a lottery until Saturday's drier track, and then Kit had bike problems, which left him without a decent grid time or a decent setup for the race. Amaral Nagarit gave Petronas a second bike on the front row of the grid as the team gave full support to Meng Heng's outside bid to claim this crown. 3rd quickest time in the single dry qualifying session, and hardly a second off the pole time, Koichi Hirajima was in determined mood ahead of the final race of the year. I'm going to do my best to win this race. Meng Heng held the overnight pole, fastest on a wet track, but Saturday's times were all 20 seconds quicker, so it was meaningless. His 39.0 was quickest again on Saturday until he lost out in the final laps to the only rider to dip into the 38s. This race was always going to be a tough one, and he knows that he needs luck on his side.
Yeah, chances for winning the championship is very slim, but anyway, anything can happen in motor racing. So I just keep my finger crossed and just see how it went.
Pole position went to Colin Marshall's Japanese rider Yuichi Nakajima, fractionally the fastest of the whole bunch, but also comfortable in the knowledge that he needed to do little more than stay in the seat in order to claim this year's crown. 4th place is all he needs from this race. These should have been nerve-wracking moments for Nakajima and for the team, but both parties seem to be relaxed and confident on Sunday morning. The bike is going well. It's been getting progressively better all year, and I'm very happy to be in pole position for this race. In pole and needing only to finish fourth in order to claim the crown, Nakajima is poised on the threshold of Colin Marshall's dream.
Well, that's something what we've been racing for 3 years, to try and get here, to win it. And hopefully, but at the end of it, we can attract some more sponsorship and continue next year.
Have you got any particular strategy for today?
No, not really. Just get out there and do the best we can, basically, and just finish and win the championship. That's all we want, is a championship.
To the Tuna Flamenco, with a passion from Spain, we bring you highlights from the Spanish Primera Liga. If you want to see the best goals, know who's in the limelight, the downs and outs, what started the bullfight, and who's hitting the targets. It's all in the Spanish League highlights. Friday on Star.
People often ask me, they say, Tim, why is your show so darn popular? I'll tell you what I think. I think that working with your hands...
Nakajima down in the 38s then, just fractionally ahead of Meng Heng, who will be a hard man to beat today. Hirajima going for it, as he said, and then the second Petronas bike, which could be a threat. Down into the 42nds and the 41s as we go on to the second row, and these are the riders who are going to struggle to stay with the front row. Watch out for the leading four making the break. The second of the Colin Marshall bike starting from the pit lane, problems on the line, and starting from pit lane as the rest of the field gets away, and Nakajima swoops from that pole position, shoots across Meng Heng's nose, cuts him off going into turn one, and what an astounding start for Chow Yan Kit. Just look at the number one plate, has come storming through the field. Well, he fired off the line, and he too has passed Meng Heng. So it's Nakajima, Chow Yan Kit, Quan Meng Heng coming up the hill towards the left turn. Then it's that number 19 of Amaral Nagara. There's the number 12 Suzuki of Nunes Sparran. Tight left, very difficult left. Long left, Nakajima, a little bit of a wobble as he gallops away from the rest of the field. Hirajima is there as well, a glimpse of that 66. He's trying to do well in this race. Everybody wants to win it. Nakajima doesn't have to, but looks as though he might be about to. Big field for the 250s, and Nakajima is just storming away from everybody else. Front of that bike, pattering coming down the hill, always a problem here at Johor. And all of these downhill circuits with the twists and turns is this front end push. You've really got to ride the front end of the bike hard. You've got to have it set up so that you're confident and you can push it through the chicane, that little flip-flop, and right out on the rough. Nakajima really determined to give them everything on this opening lap. And that's Meng Heng, number 2, just gone up into second place ahead of Chow Yan Kit. So it's Nakajima out in front. Meng Heng is second, Kit is third, Afendi is in fourth place. And Kit obviously having a much better race than he had a qualifying session, but even so hasn't had the time to get that bike set up the way he wants it, and he could be saying hello to number 19, Amaral Haizam Nagarib, any moment now, although he has got 66, Koichi Harajima breathing down his neck, so that'll give him plenty to think about. As Harajima has a look round the outside, that's not the place to do it. He's going to try it again, running up the hill. Here's Nakajima, who has just stormed into the lead and now seems to be able to hold that. Meng Heng's got past Kit, but has he lost the opportunity to stay in touch with Nakajima? It would be amazing stuff if Nakajima had managed to win this race on that run down to the first corner, but really, when you look back, that's almost exactly what it looked like. He just flew away from that green light and he just shot into the lead. Quite clearly, whatever the team tactics were, taking it easy and swanning around in fourth place waving was not part of the plan. Nakajima is right on the pipe and is still pulling away. Meng Heng getting the drop on Kit as well. Hirajima has got past the second Petronas bike and is now zeroing in on the Castrol machine of Chaoyang Kit. Nakajima is giving that thing everything. Colin Marshall's either got his eyes shut or he's got his head between his knees. He must be feeling positively ill every time that front suspension judders and jumps around. That front wheel leaping about all over the place. Nakajima is riding it hard. He hasn't got to do things like that. And he is still doing them. He's still holding off Meng Heng. Doesn't matter if Meng Heng goes past him, as long as Nakajima stays at least fourth, the championship is over and in his pocket. Meng Heng has got quite a good lead on Hirajima, who has got past Chaoyang Kit, still struggling with the bike, fourth place now. Qualified sixth, holding on to fourth, and maybe finishing a little higher. We've seen Hirajima before in the past, good in the early laps, but he seems to either use himself or the tyres up in those early laps, and often we see him drop back through the field in the last few laps of the race. Nakajima is always strong at the end, but you've got to be there at the end, and at the moment that must be the most pressing concern on Colin Marshall's mind. About to be pounced on by the number 19 machine, perhaps. Or is he holding that off? I think he's holding his own there. Oh, and there's a rider down, and that's Munispar, and that must be the number 12 Suzuki. It is indeed. Well, Munispar rides the wheels off that machine, trying to stay with the Yamahas, and a lot of weekends it turns out that way. You can't blame him for trying intensely competitive, just pushes the envelope a little bit too far for the machine and the tyres. Whatever it is, he's always on the limit and sometimes beyond it. On this occasion, beyond it. That's not the way he would have wanted to end the season. Perhaps it is, trying as hard as he knows how. Nakajima's certainly doing that as well. Flies over the crest, watch the front end of that bike come down, and it leaps across those bumps. Fortunately, this is out the back. Oh dear, he's almost out of it. Oh dear. That might slow him down rather more than the prospect of being beaten to the flag by Meng Heng will. That almost put him out of the seat. That almost cost him the title. Here it is again, knee right down. It's the back that starts to go, and then the tyre bites. Watch it dig in, wind up that suspension and try and spit him off the seat. Somehow or other, he hangs on to that one. Wasn't too bad, perhaps. It looked a lot more dramatic than it could have been, but it certainly felt a lot more dramatic than it looked. Perhaps now Nakajima will take things a little bit more steadily. Chaoyang Kit, you're looking at, has lost ground to number 19, Amaral Haizam Nagarib, and as you can see there, off goes the number 96 machine of Chusik Heng. Well, this is a good ride for Amaral Nagarib. Absolutely excellent stuff from him. given that Kit has had problems in qualifying and that the bike may not be at its best, he is still last year's champion, and Garrett has just taken that number 19 Petronas bike past him. Although Kit doesn't look as if he's going to be content to stay there forever. Nakajima will be content to stay here forever. You can see that Mang Hang's caught up a little bit, but not a lot. So he built up a fairly comfortable lead, and perhaps that was the sensible thing to do. But certainly he should be taking it a little bit more easily now. And perhaps he's not pushing it quite as hard as he was. Mang Hang, the pressure is on him now. Not entirely certain whether he will have seen that little moment for Nakajima. He'll certainly know that he is closer to him than he was, and he will know therefore that Nakajima's had some kind of moment, made some kind of mistake, even if it's only missing a shift. Mang Hang, though, in these turns might have been unsighted, and he'd certainly have been busy with his own riding at that moment when Nakajima nearly got spat out. But the track here is fairly wide, and the undergrowth fairly well back there, so possibly he does know that Nakajima is under pressure, is feeling the pinch, and might yet be pushed into another error. Mang Hang, using all of the track, is certainly trying to run him down now, certainly trying to close with the race leader. The championship is won from the front at the moment, and these two are now the only people in this race. Nakajima has got a nice long lead over Kwan Mang Hang. Back in third place, you saw 66. That was Koichi Hirojima on the green cycle machine. He said he wanted to win this weekend, but it doesn't look as if it's going to happen, and he's certainly slowed down compared to these two. Nakajima and Mang Hang have just maintained the same pace that we saw from them at the start of the race. They are still going at it, and that really marks out the difference between the top men, the ability to keep on keeping on. 13, the second of the Colin Marshall bikes. This is Tommy's son. Tommy is the mechanic who has got Nakajima's bike running so well. This is his son on the number 13, which is lucky in some parts of the world, unlucky in others, but seems to be working well enough for him at the moment. Certainly running strong and staying with the other top class men. Here's his teammate, here's Nakajima, and he looks as if he's got back into the groove again, just a little bit neater going through here than he was before, and you can't really blame him for that. And he is just yards from home now. Nakajima knows that the championship is just around the corner, and not only is it just around the corner, but it will be heralded by the waving of a checkered flag, and that will be his third victory of the year. He's broken clear of Mang Hang. He has done it in the best possible style, winning the race as well as the series, his third straight championship win on the back of second place at the opening round. There's Tommy with the flag. Nakajima is quite clearly very pleased about this and very emotional, but he is undeniably the man of the season in the 250 class, and best of all, he was 6 seconds clear of Mang Hang in second place, with Hirojima third, 8 seconds further back, and Amaral Haizam Nagarat putting a second Petronas bike into the top 4. Here's the official confirmation of those results. Mang Hang 6 seconds away from the leader by the end of the race, and Hirojima third, holding on to that final rostrum spot, and Amaral Haizam Nagarat getting ahead of Kit at the flag. Good work for him, and the third Petronas bike in the top 6. Good weekend for the team.
Around the mountain.
Whoa! Mang Hang ends the season second, and Kit third after a miserable last weekend. Hirojima and Green Cycle must be pleased with fourth place, although there were times when they looked as if they might have been on for an even bigger finish, but there is the confirmation of that. Nakajima, Mang Hang and Chao Yan Kit first, second and third. And all the celebrations this weekend reserved for Nakajima, who put aside opposition from the defending champion and from the very determined Mang Hang in order to take the title in his second season and really what amounts to his first full-scale attempt.
すごい嬉しいです。
I'm very glad to have won the title, especially as I came so close to it last year but couldn't do it. Glory days for Nakajima then, and for Colin Marshall, who claims the 250 crown at the third time of asking, underlining the strength of a team with no visible means of support.
We worked hard for it, and I didn't know what he was going to do today. I didn't really know if he said he was going to go out and try and get the lap record and go for the win. I just wanted him to finish fourth, and then we would win the championship. But to win the championship and to win the race, and we got the fastest time of the race, is poetry in motion.
The Omega Tour's journey around Asia has already produced dramatic results. Now, as the tour draws to a close, the pressure is on to find out who will emerge as Asia's premier professional golfer. See highlights of the Hugo Boss foursomes Saturday on Star Sports.
The Omega Tour is brought to you by Omega. From every corner of Asia, the very best in sport. Asia Sport, the pulse of sport in Asia.
This too, poetry in motion, 7 seconds clear up front, riding his own race, the superb and stylish Derek Achuong won round 3 at Sentul to increase his championship lead in the best possible way. Even better news for him was that his arch-rival Christmas Villaroge was held back in 3rd spot, opening the points margin wider still. Now Derek has 70 points and Christmas 61. And Derek needs just 7 points from this final round to put the title in his pocket once again. 9th place at the last race of the year is all it takes to make him champion for the 3rd time, and he knows it's almost his. So far, there have been no repeat winners in this championship other than Derek. So his 2 back-to-back crowns are already a record-setting achievement. And a 3rd title, which looks to be on the cards, would be an unprecedented demonstration of superiority from the man who is arguably the best rider this series has produced in 3 years and is certainly the most stylish. One day qualifying, Yasir Saeed grabbed a spot on the inside of row 2, looking for a good finish to a strong season. Also hoping to go well this weekend, Thailand's Dekker Kreiser, 4th fastest in his 2nd appearance this year, his first ride outside Thailand. Cheer Tuk Chong was 3rd fastest, and he's another one who wants to end this season with a flourish. It has been a tough year for him in which his results haven't really lived up to the quality of some of his riding performances. And ahead of him on the timesheets, Christmas Villaroge was determined to keep his overnight pole from Friday's wet session. He has to win this race if he wants the title. But in the end, he could only match the time set by Derek Achuong, so the pressure really was on.
Qualify okay. And my team work okay, motorcycle okay. And today okay, I can win.
Derek set his best time on his 13th and final lap of the session, And though Christmas matched him, he couldn't beat him, leaving Dirick to start the last race from pole in pursuit of his third straight 150 title. Though he's defending the strongest lead in the series this weekend with a margin of 19 points, Dirick was as delighted with his pole position as if he'd come here level with Christmas in the points table.
Pole position, yesterday last lap, I really pole position. Oh, very happy. Yes, okay.
And win today?
Sure. Want to win. Yeah.
Turn on and tune in as a new year of entertainment begins this January on Star. Don't miss the world's best golfers as they do battle in the Heineken Golf Classic. From tee to green, we bring you unrivaled live coverage of one of golf's premier events. Basketball is back as Star brings you the Chinese National Basketball League. And if you like football, don't miss the action as Spain's premier clubs prepare to do battle in the Spanish League. Live. It's back and better than ever for the serious fans who need to know about the action. Football Mundial goes behind the scenes to find out what's really going on in the world of football. Then it's Slam Bam Thank You Man as the WWF Musclemen return in this month's main event of Canvas Carnage. It's action all the way this January on Star Sports.
To get the latest schedule updates, visit our website, www.espnstar.com.
Does. Dirick Atchewong starts from pole position in flamboyantly confident mode, as well he might be. Alongside him on the grid and on the clock, Christmas Village matched his best lap, and as one of the toughest racers in this series, you know he'll be trying. Cheer as well, another tough man, a hard man, never gives up, never stops trying. 15 is the tie rider, Decker Kreisert. All of the front row on the 142s. Dirick 142.6, Christmas 142.6, and it's 142.7, 142.8. They're just a tenth of a second apart. 43 seconds when you get to row 2. That's Yasir Saeed, 43.15. 43.6 for Yong Vai Hon, 43.8 for Superchai, and 44 for Sumath, who is third in the points table. Away they go then. Last race of the season is underway. Dirick Atchewong comes bundling off the start line. Christmas has made a mess of it. The number 3 man has been passed by his teammate going into the first turn. And away up the hill comes the number 1 plate. He's been caught in the corner as well. Well, it is the 15 plate of Decker Kreisert who leads them up the hill. Thailand's Decker Kreisert. Here comes Dirick Atchewong up the inside, leans through neatly on the inside of this corner. Well, it's a difficult place to go overtaking, but Dirick Atchewong runs through on the inside of the number 15 machine to grab back the lead. Third place is 5. That's Sumath, third in the points. Sumath could get ahead of Christmas in the points table, but he couldn't get ahead of Dirick unless Dirick does the unthinkable. A little bit of a wobble over the bumps there. We saw how much of a challenge that was for Nakajima. And Dirick gets through, running downhill towards the chicane now, and the end of this opening lap with the number 15 bike jumping around all over the place, trying to get through. Into the chicane they go. Flick it through the turns and get on the gas now, because this is the drive that carries you out onto the front straight. You want to be ready for this final right-hand corner. Lean it in and be powering it up now. Dirick holds it nice and tight and gets the power down hard, but he's got the number 15 machine tucked behind him. This is where they go drafting, but Dirick's got it covered. number 2 plate of Chia Tuk Cheong, moving up, trying to get past Christmas. He shot past him in the corner. Was he too hot to hang on to it? He looks as though he has made it stick. He ran wide, but he held on to it. Christmas has got the drive coming up the hill. Raicng is trying to get the drive on Derek. They are 2 and 2. Derek Atuong on the inside as the 15 machine goes round all the long way and into the lead. He's done it. Well, Derek passed him up the inside on the previous lap, but now Decker Chrysler has passed him on the outside to grab the lead. And the 150s are once again as exciting as bike racing ever gets. This championship is so ferociously competitive, so fiercely contested by these riders. Derek Atuong just with the advantage over Chrysler, and this is what he wants, because right now his championship rival Christmas Villarage is back in 4th place, and Derek can afford to race with the other Thai rider all afternoon if he wants to. It won't change anything in the championship all the time. Christmas is in 4th spot. How long will that last? Here's Chia Tuk Cheong, number 2, up into 3rd place. Ferociously competitive rider again. Spent some time at the Kenny Roberts training ranch in Barcelona, where the school's instructors thought he might even be too competitive, if there is such a thing. And he runs up the inside of the number 15 bike to grab 2nd spot. So it's Thailand's Derek Atuong from Malaysia's Chia Tuk Cheong. Thailand in 3rd and 4th places as they come up this long straight, and here comes Chia having a look up the inside. Derek's just a little bit too quick going into the corner, and Chia can do nothing about it. Oh yes, he can! Chia cuts through on the inside. Well, Chia Tuk Cheong did that one absolutely perfectly, ran out wide and let Derek back through, but he just sliced through there after it looked as though the challenge was over. Through went Chia. 4 riders in this leading group as they pull away from the rest of the field. The championship will be decided somewhere here. Derek is in a championship winning position anywhere in the top 4, anywhere in the top 7 come to that. He doesn't have to race with these guys. If they get carried away with it, he can quite safely back off and let them go. But for the time being, Derek Atuong, oh, there's just a lot of action coming down the hill as well. They may have broken away, but they haven't broken that far away. The next pack isn't that far off the back wheel of the Christmas Villarage machine. Coming out of the final corner now as Derek makes his move. Through underneath Chia on the brakes. Derek Atuong carry the speed out to the far side of the track and get the drive down. This is the uphill thing. You've got to be driving hard coming out onto this long straight. Christmas still at the back end of this group, perhaps content to see what happens. And again, Chia makes his move on Derek running into this corner a little earlier than before. He ran wide and gave Derek the opportunity to come back at him very quickly last time because he made the move too late in the corner. This time he's done it earlier and made it stick, but Derek is already coming back at him down through the sweeping right. And it is Derek Atuong, Chia Tuk Cheong, Christmas Villarage pops into 3rd place. Good afternoon, Christmas. Here he comes. Derek is preoccupied. He has got Chia Tuk Cheong climbing all over him, and Christmas Villarage has decided that now is the time. Christmas knows very well that he can win this race, but he can't win the championship. Derek has got to lose it for Christmas to claim it. Derek has got to make a mistake, got to have a moment, got to seize the bike, something like that, or Christmas Villarage cannot win the crown. This kind of close racing, this kind of pressure, this is Christmas Villarage's only hope of claiming the crown, and he knows it. He must be delighted that Derek has responded to the challenge and wants to win this final race, because it is his only prayer at the title. And he has got that number 15 machine dancing around behind him. Well, Decker Chrysler hasn't decided yet whether to pack it in. He's just beginning to lose touch as they come up the straight. Christmas is tucked in the draft, comes out alongside Chia Tuk Cheong. Derek is still there. Christmas is 2nd. What Christmas needs is to hit the front, lead this race, and let Derek get involved with the others, while Christmas picks up maximum points. They're closing on the tail end traffic. This is where it could get decisive. The way you come up on tail enders, whether they know you're there, whether they move aside, all that makes a difference. Christmas in the lead. It's number 3, Christmas Villarage. Nice clean pass into the lead ahead of Derek Achuong. Chia Tuk Cheong is in 3rd place. This is what Christmas Villarage needs for the crowd, and for the time being at least, it makes little or no difference to Derek Achuong. He is still the champion in 2nd place. Or 3rd place, come to that, as Chia has it. Oh, and Christmas was the one who got it all wrong, and Derek comes swooping through to grab back the lead. Well, Chia was getting a little bit excited in the background, but Christmas left a little tiny door open, and Derek Achuong just flitted through the gap. Absolutely wonderful stuff from Derek Achuong. Christmas coming back hard at the end of the straight. But Derek letting him know that it isn't going to be easy. Whatever else it might be, however else it happens, it's not going to be easy for Christmas Villarage. Derek going to race him all the way to the checkered flag. If you can't have the title, the next best thing is the last checkered flag of the year. Little bit of elbowing starting to creep into the racing there, I think. Christmas Villarage not averse to giving his opponents a friendly boot on his way round the corners. Just looks as if he might be reminding Chia Tuk Cheong that the elbow can be used legitimately in road racing, or illegitimately it should be. Just starting to get a bit physical. Christmas is one of the hardest men out there, and Chia Tuk Cheong will not just lie down and surrender. Oh, and look at Derek Achuong. They touched then, I'm sure they touched. Achuong just sweeping across the front of Christmas Villarage, and this is absolutely brilliant stuff. This is as close as bike racing will ever be. 110, 125, 250, 500, you name it, it never gets any better than this. They are swapping places all the way around the circuit, overtaking in places where you should not be overtaking. Christmas from Derek, from Chia Tuk Cheong, and they come out onto the front straight. They are 3 abreast. Derek's on the inside, and Derek, and they are running towards the flag. Derek Achuong comes through on the inside and just snatches it on the line. Well, Christmas thought he'd got it made, but Derek Achuong delighted with that one, and so he should be. What a pass from the defending champion. It doesn't make a scrap of difference. He is the 1998 champion as well, but he's also won the last race of the year with a racer's move on the final corner. Absolutely brilliant stuff. A tremendous move on that final lap gives Derek Achuong the win and the title in no uncertain terms. He could have tooled around in 5th or 6th place and still been champion, but instead he battled for the win all the way to the flag, and he takes his 3rd win of the year to be champion again, ahead of Christmas, Sumath and Chia in the points, with that dazzling pass out of the final corner. There are champions and there are champions, but Derek Achuong has been a constant source of surprise in this series. He launched a determined fight back from round 2 last year to claim his 2nd crown, and he's battled hard at every single race this year to stamp his authority on the series yet again. And let's not forget that he's brushed aside opposition from Christmas Villarage, one of the hardest bike races I've ever seen, and also from Chia Tuk Cheong, another of the super tough, super aggressive riders sprung from Malaysia's Capri Championship. So he has every reason and every right to celebrate what is indisputably a fantastic career highlight.
This race very nice and very good. Good.
So you're happy?
Yes, very happy. I never dreamed 3-year consecutive. Yeah, very yes.
And who could have done? So far, the only repeat winner in any championship category, Derek has earned his right to a wildcard entry in the 125 Malaysian Grand Prix next year, and that's the next time we'll see him race. The season is over for the Asian Championship, and the bikes go back in their boxes until April next year, when the series enters a 4th successful season, still the only FIM-sanctioned international series in Asia.